over the British Indian Ocean Territory.
Henry Smith.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. It is a great pleasure to speak in this debate, and I pay tribute to my honourable friend, the member for Melton and Rutland, for securing it. It has been a fantastic week of visibility for the variety of the British Overseas Territories. First of all, with their participation of the coronation of King Charles III last Saturday, the always wonderful display of the British Overseas Territories flags and the Crown Dependency flags in Parliament Square, and of course the Joint Ministerial Council going ahead this week as well. Yesterday, it was good to see the UK Overseas Territories Association conference take place in Portcullis House, just across the way, where we heard some very powerful contributions about that sheer variety and contribution that the British Overseas Territories from the Antarctic, Europe, Caribbean, the Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean provide for this country, and indeed their contribution to the world. And Mr. Speaker was very generous in hosting many representatives of the British Overseas Territories in Speaker's House just the other day, where there was the unveiling of a window at the very entrance of Speaker's House, which beautiful window which displays all of the emblems of the British Overseas Territories and Crown Dependencies as well. At that UK Overseas Territories Association conference yesterday, we heard again about the significant environmental contribution that the Overseas Territories provide, not only to protecting and enhancing biodiversity from the British family of nations, but also our contribution to the globe with regard to protecting and enhancing our environment. Some 2.5 million square miles of ocean protected through the Blue Belt and Darwin initiatives. Really a very positive contribution indeed. In the short time I have left, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I would like to briefly mention a few issues already touched on by some other honourable and right honourable members. When it comes to the Turks and Caicos Islands, the crisis that is occurring in Haiti is causing intolerable immigration pressure on those islands, and also resultant serious criminality, and I would ask the government to continue fully engaging with that. On Gibraltar, I think it is very important that, again, that their pragmatism and their patriotism is recognised and supported by the UK government as they continue their negotiations with the European Union. And following on from my honourable friend, the member for Shrewsbury, of course, I must mention the British Indian Ocean Territory. The Chagos Islanders have been, as I've said many times in this House, appallingly treated over the course of over half a century now, from being exiled from their homeland to being dumped in other countries who have treated them badly, to have their citizenship rights denied. I'm glad that last year, an amendment I put down to the Nationality and Borders Act, that final injustice on citizenship has been righted. But there is now yet another injustice that is being visited on them, and that is their complete being disregarded by the UK government when it comes to being consulted, and their right of determination over the future sovereignty of the Chagos Islands and the British Indian Ocean Territory. That is appalling, and it is, as my honourable friend has said, a security risk for us and the democratic world. Where we step back, China will step in. Finally, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'd like to add my comments about the fact that the British Overseas Territories and our Crown Dependencies are not properly represented here in London. There should be a separate government department and a Secretary of State. They are neither foreign nor are they Commonwealth, and that needs to be recognised and respected. And also there needs to be representation here in this UK Parliament? I'll be delighted.
I thank my friend for giving me the point. The one thing I did miss earlier was that in 2019, our committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee, said there should be an Overseas Territories Committee of the House of Commons, made up of members of the Select Committee, for example, the Right Honourable Gentleman and Learned Gentleman up behind me, Foreign Affairs, Defence, DEFRA, all those committees that best care about the issues that matter to the overseas territories. Does he agree that it's deeply concerning that 4 years on, the government's given no consideration to the need for this cross-party, cross-select committee working?
Well, I should perhaps declare an interest as member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and I should have also, Mr Deputy Speaker, declared an interest that I'm a member of many all-party parliamentary groups on the overseas territories as well. We need far greater recognition here, both in terms of how Parliament scrutinises policy towards the overseas territories and the Crown dependencies, and how they are represented here, whether there could be some sort of representation in the other place, or if they chose to be a part, as the Honourable Member for Brighton Kemp Town was saying, of this country, representation here in this chamber as well. We need to do far better. Our overseas territories, Mr Deputy Speaker, are not backwaters. They're the very frontier of protecting our environment, of providing defence for the world, and enterprise as well. It's about time that the UK government properly paid them respect.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker, and can I declare my interest as Chair of the UK Commonwealth